This is Joel 2 and verse 28. And it shall come to pass afterwards that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. Kal halal yamla alahayanawa Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the Apostle Elder Great Millstone, who to teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered around the four winds of the earth, pushing this word in our truth and sincerity. And also a sincere shalom to the sincere believers, the men, women, and children of Yahweh Shemel Shai, believing on the true testimony of Yahweh Shemel Shai in the latter days. Shalom. It's the brother Marquardt Ward from the Great Millstone, Columbus, Georgia camp. Hey, coming back through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai with this quick testimonial video. And Lord willing, I pray to be edifying. And what inspired me to do this lesson is just taking heed to the spirit. I got a testimony, a dream that normally me, the spirit that the Lord had me in, I really don't do lessons about dreams and things of that nature, because as scripture say, take heed to dreams. Well, multitude of dreams, because roughly paraphrasing, a multitude of dreams come by through a multitude of business, right? Dreams come through a multitude of business, except they be spiritual, and this dream that I'm about to share with you, brothers, is a dream my rib had back in 2001. It's 2024 now. Me and my rib had got together back in 2020, probably right before the lockdown really took place, and she was just now kind of coming into the faith, to coming into the understanding of that she was being an Israelite, and a lot of things were changing in her life. And the Lord had gave her this dream, and through the spirit, just to to look out for her spiritually. I didn't want to, I always kept it in my notes, the dream that she had, but I didn't want to do it on wax, because I didn't want to allow somebody to be lifted up with pride, or allow myself to be lifted up with pride as if I was somebody, or because I know at the end of the day, a dream is a dream, though. A lot of dreams and visions are spiritual. But at the end of the day, I know I got to still work out my own salvation with fear and trembling. And I was just trying to, do the best that I could as a servant of Yahweh Shemel Shai to, try to watch over my household and watch over myself. But the spirit, been as of late, the head of our camp, this is like his second time telling me to do this lesson. And I'm just taking heed to the spirit. Lord willing, I hope that it be edifying to someone. Hope that it be uplifting, because what inspired the second time the brother admonished me to do this lesson, we just did a live, well, not a live, so like we did our Sunday class, and we was building in the spirit, and I was, the spirit got on me to say that, because we were reading in 1 Samuel's, something jumped on me. Well, the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai jumped on me to tell brothers that, for that we don't have to really worry about our wife and our kids if we're doing right by Yahweh Shemel Shai, because the Lord can very well save our whole household if we do what's pleasing unto him. We don't need to worry about these things, but just continue to work out our salvation through fear and trembling, and let the Lord take care of the rest, because the Lord know that we truly coming back and serving him, man, right? So I'm gonna jump straight into it. As you can see, the actual date, it was in this month. Matter of fact, Barakatah Yahweh Shemel Shai, I'm actually doing this lesson on the same date that she had the dream, at the same time. Bro, oh my God. Hey, Barakatah Yahweh Shemel Shai, this truly the spirit, man. Oh man. Kal halal yamla alahayanawa Yahweh Shemel Shai. This is my real dream, man. July 15th, right? This is when I at 10:45, but this one I edited, right? But because I did some editing to it. But yeah, the hey man, Kal halal yamla Yahweh Shemel Shai. But this was actually around the same time, because she did do it in 2020, right? It says, and this I'm speaking in the third person because this is my rib writing this down during that time of the dream. So, just envision what's going on. It says, I was at my aunt's house and a guy I worked with at Walmart, right? Cause my rib, before I met her, she had 2 jobs. She used to work at Walmart, but she no longer works there now, through the Spirit and Power of Yahweh Shema Shai, because the Lord put us together, right? It says, I work at Walmart with, a guy I work with at Walmart walks up to the door and asks for me. I didn't answer the door because I was in the back, but my cousin did, and she came and got me, and I went to the front to see who needed me. When I got to the front, he was sitting down and the news was on. He saw me and asked could he get a ride. In the midst, all I heard was a distant gunshot here and there. He kept begging me and telling me he needed to get to his child and child's mother. I said yes, and it was like he was rushing me out the door to get to the car. As I walked out, I knew I needed to let my husband know. I didn't feel right once I walked out. Not sick nor anything, like my spirit just didn't feel like something was right. As we got in the car, I asked him where he needed to go. He told me on the other side of town, and I looked at him in disbelief because it was so far. In the same time, I kept having this bad feeling. I kept thinking I need to talk to my man. In that time, the guy kept trying to make small talk, but I cut him off and said, hey, I'm really not the same anymore, and let him know that I didn't feel right and I couldn't take him. He kept saying he just needs to get to his child's mother. And I said, look, man, I'm not the same anymore. Basically letting him know my man don't play this homeboy friend stuff, right? Because we know we coming to the truth. A woman doesn't have friends, man, right? For you sisters, right? Once you, the Lord give you a husband, you are to be with that husband as saith the law, and you're not to have friends, right? You're not to be in contact on a daily with other men instead of your husband. Now, if you got a father, your family member, that's different. So don't get simple. But we know that a man ain't truly a friend with a woman. A man only wants one thing from a woman. That's to, make him his wife, right? Carrying on. He kept saying he just needs to get to his child's mother. And I said, look, man, I'm not the same anymore, because basically letting him know my man doesn't play this homeboy friend stuff. I almost wrecked the car because I felt so bad. I got out the car and he asked would I like him to drive. I said please and got back in, and he said, I understand you're not the same. Would you like me to get out at the stop sign? I said yes, thank you. We drove to the corner and the gunshots got louder. I looked out the window and saw gangs hanging out of their cars, just shooting guns for no apparent reason. I ducked to the ground and stayed there and thought about all the hell I brought on myself just by doing this. Because during the dream, my rib was saying she didn't know what was going on, right? She didn't realize why chaos was breaking forth, right? She said, I kept rambling about how I need him to leave and I need to get to my husband. He then said, it's okay. I know you're not the same. I'm not the same either. I kept going on saying, no, you don't understand. I need you to leave. He then proceeded to drive and said the Lord's name, right? Yahweh Shema Shai. I looked at him shocked because, one, I never told him I knew the Lord's name, and two, me thinking of who he is and how could he know that. We end up at this building similar to the mall and instantly got on a float with about 10 to 12 other people. The float had transparent walls. We could see on the outside, but no one could see us on the float. As I got on the float, I'm wondering what's going on, and all I see is chaos, women screaming, and so much fire. But they could not see us because had they seen us, they would have tried to get on the float as well. I saw at the edge of the float An older woman on her knees with a bowed head. The guy who brought me there was sitting, not saying a word. I kept freaking out inwardly while trying to hold my peace because I was in disbelief. All of a sudden, my husband appeared, right? Which my rib is speaking about me, right? His presence had some significance. He had on a beautiful wool garment made of blue and different shades of brown. He looked at me as he had looked at me. It said he looked at me, and as he had looked at me, right, well, while I was looking at her, an engraving started to pierce my skin on my forehead, similar to a mark, right? And which I'm gonna go, that mark she's speaking about, right? She's saying that engraving started to pierce her forehead, right? Like basically the names of the Lord was piercing her forehead, which make you think about what? That mark of exemption, right? Let's grab this in Ezekiel 9:4. Ezekiel 9 and verse 4 said, the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city and through the midst of Jerusalem, which we know Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, and set a mark upon the forehead of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abomination be did in the midst thereof. Right? And when you go to that word mark is thawa, which thawa means a sign, or right, a mark of exemption, right?
Strong's H8420, Tav.
Right, thawa, desire mark as what? Exemption from judgment, right? So she said when I looked at her, she felt an engraving mark go through the skin of her forehead, right? As if she was sealed with that thawa, that mark of exemption, right? Let me grab this also too in Revelation 7. I started at 1-3, and after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea on the tree, right? There was on destruction wind, the nuclear fire, because that nuclear fallout ain't gonna happen, right, until the elect be sealed, right? This place ain't gonna be taken out until the elect is fully sealed. Then once the elect is sealed, right, and we know other prophecies like the MOTB, right, Jacob's trouble. Hey, that's when that last trump, and we're gonna have to be delivered up out of here. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads. So, hey, going back to the dream, right? It said he looked at me. And as he looked at me, an engraving started to pierce my skin on my forehead, similar to a mark, right? That mark of exemption. But he said nothing, right? So I wouldn't even, when I looked at her, I wasn't speaking. I just was looking at her through the spirit, looking at her right in her eyes. That's what she was telling me in the dream. It said, and he walked past me. And in that moment, I knew that it was the end, as if a light bulb went off in my head. Everyone on the float knew who he was, and it was like he had a remembrance of who he was as well, right? However, I didn't. I immediately fell to my knees and started praising the Lord. I got up and walked to the edge of the float, which through the spirit, I believe that float was a chariot, right? And with the older lady, and praised the Lord until the float came to a stop. And when I lifted up my head, there was no one. Everything was still and quiet, and it looked desolate like death. When it stopped, we got off as if it were about to be on another transport. We were about to get on another transport with more people, right? As if that ship was taking us to a bigger ship. People started to come up to my husband, which I assume were angels, and he started talking with them. They tried to help me off the float, but it was like they didn't want my feet to touch the ground. Right? And they speak about that in Deuteronomy, right? How the delicate woman who's for delicateness wouldn't allow her feet to touch the ground. Because what contrary to what our people understand, well, we know those that in the truth know, but 2/3 of our people, and we're a royal people, right? The men and women. We are the Israelites. Yashur Allah. He Prince of the Power. We are the true sons and daughters of the Most High God, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Right? It says, and at the same time, another woman came to my side. Salakia, it said they tried to help me off the float, and it's like they didn't want my feet to touch the ground, as if the ground was made of fire or glass. At the same time, another woman came to my side, and my spirit told me that she was my sister wife. Right? His wife, which you speaking about me, her husband. I don't know why, but it was a feeling. She had on this beautiful ruby red long garment. I then looked at my clothes and saw I had on a long purple garment with gold trimming. Both garments were made out of this lacquer fabric, like a silk or satin, as if it changed in the blink of an eye. Right? As if her apparel and her appearance, like they had changed in the blink of an eye. And I then noticed my husband and the guy who drove me was talking. My husband left, and the guy went another way, as if they had both had their own as well. So like if my husband left, and the guy went another way, as if they both had their own set of business to attend to. I then saw 3 Edomite women, one child, one pregnant, and one middle-aged woman. The guy told them one by one, it's time for you to go. And the angels gathered them up and were taking them through this gate. And it looked like a desolate, dry land with gray sand, similar to a landfill, right? And through the spirit, that was the angels gathering all the Edomites up, to burn them, man. Right? Which that's talking about Obadiah 1:18. You see? So, Lord willing, man, I pray that this was edifying. You know, hey, I'm just doing this through the spirit. Like I say, normally I don't do, I just don't feel comfortable bringing out certain dreams, because me personally, I do have a lot of dreams, spiritual dreams, and also do my rib, you know. But Lord willing, I pray to be edifying. I tried to bring this out the best of my ability, and Lord willing, I pray to be comforting and uplifting to you, sincere Akim and Akwath. Without further ado, as I always want to give our glory, our honor, and our praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakakodash, the honors to the apostles, the great millstone, rule to teach well. Peace and blessings to the elect. Kwam